The Indo-European language family is known for its most famous members, such as English, Latin, Russian, French, Spanish, Sanskrit, and a couple others. However, the family includes many, many lesser-known languages that all have their own fascinating stories and features. So, in this video, I'm going to showcase 3 extremely obscure Indo-European languages that even most linguists have never heard of. Today, known for only its most famous member, Latin, the Italic branch hides a number of languages that very few people know about. Diverging from the language that would become Latin around 1000 BC, the Sabellic languages would form their own language distinct from Latin. These languages survive in only a handful of small inscriptions that record their unique characteristics. One of the most notable languages, Umbrian, survives in a series of 7 tablets that record ancient rites. These rites are interesting because, while similar to ancient Roman rites, they differ slightly. One of these rites is a ritual that seems oddly familiar to the modern festival of Cari, which is celebrated in the region today. While grammar remains relatively the same between Latin and Umbrian, some interesting sound shifts occurred. W became V in a style reminiscent to the Germanic languages changing W to V. For instance, see Latin quaestor compared with Umbrian questor. Umbrian also developed a voice dental fricative, th, or th sound, which although appearing in English is an extremely rare sound occurring only in around 7.6% of languages across the globe. Umbrian is also thought to have loaned the word for cow to Latin, since it doesn't match the expected Proto-Indo-European sound changes. The word for cow in Latin should be wus, from Proto-Indo-European guos, if expected sound shifts had occurred. Instead, Latin bos matches with Umbrian bue, suggesting a loan from Umbrian to Latin. The Golad language is so obscure that it isn't even attested, meaning that the language is never recorded. Its existence is only theorized based on hydronyms and loanwords found mainly in Russian. A group of Proto-Indo-Europeans migrating northwards from the steppe would settle in present-day Latvia and Lithuania, where they would form their own linguistic subgroup, called the Baltic subgroup. Today, Baltic languages are only found in this region. However, hundreds of miles from Lithuania and Latvia, a few Baltic-style hydronyms are found in rivers around Moscow. Hydronyms are words for water sources such as lakes or rivers. They are notable because they tend to have remarkable staying power even in the face of language change. For instance, the rivers Don, Dnieper, Donets, and Dnipro are extremely ancient names dating back to at least the Proto-Indo-Europeans, whose river goddess, Dechnu, is a source of the root in all these names. Despite all the different groups that have inhabited this region in the 5,000 years since then, and everyone having forgotten the original meaning, these names remain. In the case of the Golad language, river names such as Lama, Churilicha, and Yauza show remarkable similarity to river and place names in Lithuania, a Baltic-speaking country, such as Lomena, Cheriaukšte, and Yaušinai. Words used in Russian dialects in this area also show similarities to modern Lithuanian and Latvian words. Typically, when talking about beer or ale, Russians use the words pivo or el. However, in the area near where the Baltic hydronyms are found, people use the words alania, which looks surprisingly like Lithuanian alinas and Latvian alinesh. Therefore, there must have been a Baltic language related to Latvian and Lithuanian that was spoken in this area. However, it would ultimately go extinct somewhere around the 12th century before any writing could be recorded due to Slavic conquests. Going extinct in the 6th century BC, Luvian went extinct while most Indo-European languages were still in their proto-phase. Spoken in Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, Luvian is an Indo-European language and is a sister language to Hittite, which are both descendant from Proto-Anatolian. Like Hittite, it preserves many archaisms from Proto-Indo-European, such as the laryngeal consonants. Luvian, generally being less influential than Hittite, is attested significantly less, although, thanks to the Hittites' habit of recording minor dialects and a handful of Luvian scribes, the existence of the language is known today. Interestingly, the Luvians created their own hieroglyphic script. Although monuments survived, it was not brought to the public eye until the 19th and 20th centuries when archaeological excavations began to unearth many monuments inscribed with the script. Containing both logograms, signs that represent words, and syllabograms, signs that represent syllables, the script is weirdly similar to Mayan hieroglyphs, which were written 1500 years later on a completely different continent. Also strange is how close the symbols are between the two languages. When the Hittite Empire collapsed around 1200 BC, hieroglyphic Luvian would become the dominant written language in the region. Despite this, the language would slowly decline for the next 600 years under the pressure of higher prestige languages such as Assyrian.